I'm a dead man. I'm dead.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the main stage at Mr. Small's Theater. It will be the River's Edge stage for the Millville Music Festival. I'm Brian Crawford, and I have Josh Verbanets of Meeting of Important People with me for another balcony conversation.
And what a balcony, man.
Yeah, this is beautiful, right?
Serene. It's really nice.
Did you know that this was built by the employees at Smalls? It was not a contractor. They did it all in-house.
Jeremy Kaywood, I think, did a lot of the...
Jeremy did it,
Yeah.
Kevin as well, who works here, Mike Speranzo, they all had their hand in building this beautiful balcony. And what's so cool is it's a double-decker balcony.
It sure
which
is,
is pretty sweet. So
shout out to Mr. Smalls and everyone who made these balconies possible. It's beautiful.
So I actually had Mike Speranzo on my show at one point, and we had brought up the balcony situation, and I actually called him out on it in my my disappointment. Even though these are a beautiful balcony, they're much nicer than the old balcony.
Yeah.
The other balcony, everyone was afraid to go up it. So I would go upstairs and I would have the entire balcony to myself, kind of like what we have now.
Your own box
It was my
seats,
own box seat every time I came to the theater here, and it was wonderful. So I told him, I said, even though this is like a big upgrade for you guys, I'm losing my private box.
Right.
So
the masses are catching on. Man.
I know.
You were an early adopter.
I was. So it was like me and a random iPad that would be sitting there recording the show. But it was really always a great experience. But yeah, this place just keeps getting better and better. It's so beautiful. And I'm really happy to have this as the River's Edge stage. And I'm very excited that you guys are performing at the Millville Music Festival. This is your first time. It's only the second festival, so you got in pretty quick.
Yeah, it's our first time at the festival. We haven't really played the main stage at Smalls as Meeting of Important People.
Really?
In years. It's been years. We did an album release here in like 2012, which was really fun. And then we played with the Cynics, like the great Pittsburgh kind of garage rock band.
Yeah.
We did a night here, I think, in April of like 2014. So it's been over 4 years since we really played.
Wow,
main
that's
stage.
cool. So this is like a big deal then.
Yeah, man, we're stoked.
Excited. Yeah, we did not actually have this stage last year, so this is the first time that the main stage is part of the Millville Music Festival. And we went last year where we had a kind of like an after party up in the Funhouse.
Right.
And now we went from that to having 3 different stages here in the building. The Funhouse, the main stage here where we're sitting right now, and then below the main stage we've got the War Room. And I every one of these episodes I give a shout out to Jeremy Kaywood because he had the key that unlocked the door to allow me to set up for this interview. So he'll be performing down in the War Room on Saturday the 13th, the 12th, Saturday the 12th.
With the War Key,
yeah. And he'll also be performing with his band over at the Food Truck Park stage on the 11th, the Friday before. So.
Any idea if the lobster roll food truck will be involved in the festivities? There's a lobster truck that's new to Pittsburgh.
Wow!
And I hear that I think they're part of the food truck park deal.
Okay, well,
Dying
the Food Truck Park, they're going to have different trucks coming in all the time, and that's kind of the purpose of it, which is great, is you can always go in there and get new and different foods. And I appreciate their work this year. They actually have organized all of the food trucks for the festival for us, so that took out some of the workload from us, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to ask them because they're going to have their own food truck set up that Friday night.
Okay,
which will be cool.
Well, come for Smalls and stay for a lobster roll, maybe.
Yes,
maybe if you like seafood.
Exactly. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a great show. I haven't talked with you in a setting like this in a long time. That was
years, yeah.
Yeah, back in the old Millville studios.
Oh, yes.
May it rest in peace.
Yes.
And hopefully it'll come back. But yeah, it was a cool space there. But man, we're so happy to be here. Happy to have this as the main stage. So what is new with you since I last spoke? I know you guys came out with a new album since then.
Yeah, I think last time we talked, we were probably recording what became our most recent album, Troika. And it seems like our new album, but it's like 2 years old already. Time flies so fast. My wife and I had a baby since then and stuff, and so just like an entire year goes really, really quickly. Troika is our most recent album. WIEP named it their top local release that year. And we've been playing with Clark Slater. We've been a 3-piece rock and roll band almost the whole time we've been together. And in the last year or two, Clark, who's a great musician, he plays with The Gathering Field. I was in a band called Push for many years. Sweetest guy. He's playing like second guitar with us, like open tuning acoustic guitar. So in a setting like this, it really, really works well because now I'm sort of an electric guitar basher, and we have a really like tasteful acoustic guitar player in the mix as well. It's going to be great.
You guys always get a bunch of different people involved in your sets. Last time I saw you guys was at the Three Rivers Arts Festival. You had a trumpet player and everything.
Yeah, Joe Bad. Yeah,
so.
Yeah, we do. On our recent record, Joe Bad played trumpet, and Kara Garofalo played violin. She's known really well. And from Erica Lang from Petticoat Roll that works with River's Edge, she has played trombone live with us. And
that's awesome.
She's amazing.
She's like such a diverse musician.
Yeah.
She does so many different
things. From the saw to the trombone to amazing vocal and harmony vocals with other folks. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, really cool. So you now are a father. Have you written anything? Because you write all of the songs for Meeting of Important People, correct? Or the majority of them?
I mostly write the words.
The lyrics, okay.
On the Troika album, our drummer, Matt Miller, he comes up with gorgeous melodies and progressions. Both of us are really similar in that we're just like walking down the street and getting little song ideas in our head, usually without words, and then we kind of put it all together. But yeah, for the most part, I'd probably be like the main writer.
Have you written anything since the child?
Great question, man. Things have been so busy. I'm one of those people that usually only writes when it goes in bursts, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now I'm in my mid-30s, and I kind of thought that by this point I wouldn't really have any song ideas. Nothing would be hitting me. And it's so funny. Every couple years, like I'll get this just unbelievable wave from beyond almost, where I can't stop. I keep getting melody ideas in the shower. I wake up from sleeping with song ideas. There's things happening in my life that are actually inspiring me. But for the last year, just trying to figure out the whole being a dad thing, I haven't written anything, and I haven't tried. Nothing's occurred to me. And then just the other week, while messing around on an acoustic guitar with my daughter and letting her smack the guitar, I made up what I think is a new MOIP song. So we're probably
nice.
Yeah. So when we're here, we're going to be, I think, debuting our first new song
there you
in kind
go.
of a little while. So
got to stop on down.
It's free, man. Check it out.
It is free, but buy alcohol because that's how we pay everyone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Drink up.
Yeah. So no, that's amazing. And has it changed your thought process while you're writing, or just those different experiences as being a father? Has that changed the content or the way you go about writing?
You know what? It's changed my whole life. When I get a song idea, before cell phones, I would like run to a payphone and like call my answering machine. And of course now with my iPhone, I'm able to just sing into it, make a voice memo. And the hardest thing about songwriting now is with the little one sleeping in the house, I'm like always trying to find somewhere to go. When I get a song idea, I can't just like roll over in bed and be like, and then the middle part will go, and that's probably the key of C. I can't do that now, so I find myself like sneaking to the bathroom and like turning the fan on and being like, the beat will be like, just kind of like trying to. So then 3 days later, I'm looking back at my phone and I'm like cranking the volume. Like there was a song here at 3 in the morning, but I don't know what it is. So.
Oh wow! So it's trickier now. It's almost like a game, like a survival game. Like can the song survive?
That's exactly right. There's new metrics on it. So if a song makes it through now, you better believe it's darn good, man.
Yeah.
Because I had to like remember it. So yeah, that's what's changed for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I could deal with that because my house is now. I went on like an Alexa binge, and I have all of these Alexas all over the house. So I don't do anything. I don't write anything anymore, and I'm actually going to get to the point where I won't even have to click the remote to turn the TV on. So that would be difficult for me.
Do you think you'll regress and just completely lose the muscle memory of even being able to write? Do you think you'll forget how to write?
No, because usually I'm always working on something with the station, so I'm always, if anything, it'll go the opposite way, where I'll lose the ability to write due to carpal tunnel, not... Yeah. So the less clicking I have to do, the better. Yeah.
You got to do those stretches, man. I heard that 5 seconds wide open, 5 seconds clenched. 5 seconds wide open.
Good one. Yeah. I have to wear like this thing because I sleep on my arm, and sometimes I'll wake up and my arm is so limp I can't even move it, and I'll go to grab it and slap myself across the face on accident.
What kind of mattress do you have? What are we talking?
That was with the old mattress. I got a brand new one. Haven't experienced that since then, so
Beautiful.
it might be the mattress.
Mattresses are the key. They're the key. You'll feel much, much better.
Well, the old mattress looked like a crater on the moon, and the new one is fantastic.
Good, that's great.
So I'm hoping that'll help with something. We'll see.
Circulation, yes.
So yeah, your guys' music. Well, first off, you guys have played. So I'm excited to have you guys here because I think that can add to your list. But you guys have played all of like the Pittsburgh things. there's a picture of you with Rick Seaback. You're at the Arts Festival. You guys get in all of the really cool major Pittsburgh things, right?
We're lucky, man. People,
Yeah.
we've been around long enough that people ask us to. They know the band name. We've had some airplay over the years, and so people ask us to play a lot of festivals.
Well, what's the most Pittsburgh thing that you've done?
I'll
Like
tell you-
stereotypical Pittsburgh.
Oh my gosh! Well, we played at the West End Overlook. Well, I think I played acoustic at the West End Overlook one time. The most Pittsburgh thing we ever played. We've played Picklesburg.
Okay.
We've played First Night and Light Up Night, all those great like cultural trust things. But my favorite thing we ever did, and it's like a dream, like a decade ago when they were trying to influence more people to live residentially downtown. It's different now, right? More people are living downtown. But in 2008 and 2009, it was still a little bit more of a ghost town. They closed down Penn Avenue, and the city just erected this giant stage at night. It was like a September, maybe 2009, and they had a street festival, and you had to show your ID that said you were a resident of downtown Pittsburgh. So it was just...
Oh, wow.
And it was like 2,000 people crammed on Penn Avenue, and we were on the stage. We just showed up and they'd asked us to play. I think, I can't remember, someone with the city planning.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun playing this rock and roll show, and it was like just for Pittsburgh downtown residents. And it was right before downtown kind of exploded again as a residential place. That was really fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I miss so much whenever around that time frame, because I grew up in Westmoreland County, and you just never came into the city because it was so inconvenient to drive down Route 30. And now that Route 30 fell over,
you literally can't.
Yeah, there's no way to get here.
How would you?
30.
Now, what would be your?
You'd have to go through Wilkinsburg or the Turnpike. So if you go to the Turnpike, you're going way out of your way because you got to go all the way up to Tarentum.
Where are you from?
Back.
Somerset, or where are you from?
No, from North Irwin originally.
Oh, okay,
I live here in
closer.
Millville now.
Yeah.
I've lived here in Millville for several years now, but I grew up out that way.
Yeah.
And unless you went Route 30, you were either going through Wilkinsburg, which nothing against Wilkinsburg, but it's through a neighborhood. So you're going through stop sign, stop sign, red light. It's not a highway. There's no bypass. And then the other way would be to go all the way up to Harmer, Tarentum, and then drive back into the city. So that's completely unreasonable.
I feel you. I grew up in Plum, so right on the border of Westmoreland County. So I was just close enough. It was fun because I had equal parts trees and woods in my backyard and farmland and stuff until McMansion sprung up. But I was also 20-25 minutes away from the city. So I love where I grew up. It was such a but I love Irwin as well. And there's a lot of creative band people from that area too.
Yeah, Irwin's kind of really growing. They put in a meadery, Laurel Highlands Meadery, which I love. And I always say when they add something like a meadery or a brewery, you know the town is gonna come back, because anytime that happens, it seems like everything else comes with it.
Absolutely,
which is pretty.
And
cool.
there's a theater in Irwin too.
Yeah, the Lamp Theater. They just reopened the Lamp Theater.
Yeah,
which is beautiful in there. I actually was lucky to get a tour of the place before it was officially open to the public. And
Very
it was really, really a nice job that they did there. The old Lamp Theater, when you would go in to watch a movie, it would rain on you when it rained outside. There were times that the ceiling would sprinkle down on you while you were watching a movie. And now it's like state of the art. It's beautiful.
I may have asked you this last time, but being from that area, there's all kinds of great ghost stories and urban legends of North Huntingdon. Have you ever been to Coulterville Cemetery? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I think I have.
Urban explorers. There's tons of great creepy stuff. Just
there's east. A lot of that stuff out there.
Yeah. Cool. And then farther out is what's it called? Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of it. Okay, well, there's a bunch of creepy stuff.
Yeah.
If you're in Irwin, just
check it out.
Sniff around for creepiness.
Yeah, it's fun. So your songwriting, one thing I love, all of your songs, they're very catchy, but they're also very unique, which I think is difficult to do, because a lot of songs that are catchy and you can remember and they stick with you, I feel like sometimes, not always, but sometimes they can be devoid of substance, but yours are not. They're very, there's so much to them, but they're also so, you get them stuck in your head. I get Got a Clean Head or Dead Man, it gets stuck in my head for days. And,
cool.
And that's really interesting, and they're both such quality songs too, which I think is great. So how do you manage to put that together where you're able to get a song that is so catchy, people can remember it, they can get it stuck in their head, but it is really, there's a lot of content to it and a lot of information.
Yeah, well, I'm glad
as well.
I'm glad you like it. I kind of like a mix of high art and low art and low art. Like the Decemberists to me are a band that's I could never get too into a band like that because everything is so like literate and really trying very hard to tell you that it's literate.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, a lot of like pop stuff that you're talking about, I don't want to. I actually love pop music, so I don't want to bash it. I'm trying to think of.
There's very good pop music. It's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example, but like where it's obviously just like dumb is the wrong way to say it.
Well, like the country thing where you could see like there's this YouTube video where they put all these country songs.
Pattern of exactly.
Yeah. Same lyrics a lot of times. Similar lyrics.
Yeah, probably. One of the pluses and also downfalls probably of our band is that I've always just kind of left the lyrics however they came into my head, and a lot of times, as we said just a couple minutes ago, it would be like placeholder lyrics that maybe didn't particularly mean a whole lot to even me, but were just the phrase that I got stuck in my head. When I was a teenager, I started writing songs. I'd be working at this video store, and customers would come in, and I'd be daydreaming, and a customer would say something, and I would overhear it, and then I would just it would just turn into a little song in my head. They'd say something that just had a little ring to it, like like Ringo saying that was a hard day's night, and that inspiring a song. All of these customers were my Ringo. They were always just, I'd overhear chatter and just be a bored teenager, and just using some imagination, things would naturally turn into these like vocal hooks, you know? And so it's always been a mix of kind of like melody stuff that jumped in and stayed stuck, and a lot of times I've just been too lazy to change the lyrics from what I was originally walking around singing as a placeholder, you know. And on a recent album, I definitely, becoming a little older and wiser, I did go back and like make the final choruses of songs like actual words that would make a lot of sense to people, or I hope would be applicable to other people. But on our earlier stuff, it's definitely some pretty specific and at times like weird lyrics, you know.
Well, that's cool though, and I think that's really important for an artist to live in the world. I know back when I worked retail, for example, I got so much show material from dealing with people, and it really got you thinking, and a lot of it was, venting or whatever on air.
Sure.
But when you have that connection to the real, the real world versus like now, for example, I have some of that with my job, but I don't deal with the public. So, and being so busy with the radio network, I don't get the opportunity to walk the streets like I used to, and just like
with the people. Well, that's a great point, man. That's why they say a lot of artists, like their first couple records or albums, when albums were a thing, seem to have something that their later stuff doesn't. Because obviously, if you become a celebrity or you become removed, it's really difficult to recapture just the spirit of when you were a regular person working your job and interacting with all of these other people, a more diverse group of people. And I found that to be true too. The most productive I've ever been is always when I'm the busiest. I've never been someone who like tries to write songs. I've very very rarely. There's sometimes where I've been asked to write a song for something, or I do those Josh and Gab programs where we're like intentionally targeting a specific theme, so we're like trying to write songs. But other than that, with meeting of important people, I very, very rarely have like tried to write stuff. I don't sit down and make it a discipline. It's usually just when the inspiration's there, I collect it, and then when it's time to do something with it, I go back and listen through what's been collected.
Well, I think that's a certain style, because I actually operate in that way a lot of times, where I will have a goal that I need to accomplish, but I'll brew it over in my mind, I'll think about it. I can't bring myself to write it down, and then all of a sudden it's crunch time and I need to get it out, and then it flows right out.
There you go. Yep.
So I think it is just like a certain style. I think some people, a lot of artists, they'll say, oh, you have to force yourself to sit down and write an hour a day, and I think that's great for some people, but I just don't think everyone's wired that way.
Yeah, I mean, it seems honestly like 90 to 95% of the creative world, that just seems like a law. That definitely, all of the songwriters that I really like, that's usually what they say. You must sit down and force yourself to write. And I'm just the complete opposite, where I just know deep down intuitively that for me, that won't yield anything.
No,
it's more just about being able to pick through the stuff that naturally came to you and being open to that stuff and making sure you collect it literally on your phone, on your computer. Playing live with your bandmates if you're in a band.
And trying to do that, trying to force yourself can be so frustrating, because if you're not getting, like, in my mind, I'm very results oriented, not in the sense where I'm going to do a show and it's great and I'm going to get a slam dunk, but I know in my mind if it's quality or not, and if I'm just forcing myself to come up with something, then I'm going to be disappointed in myself, and then I'm going to get frustrated. That's why I used to do 3 days a week. I reduced it back to 1 day a week because I just was creatively drained.
Who are some of your like radio heroes? Who do you look up to? Radio or podcasting?
I don't really know. It's hard to say because I wasn't. It's weird. I never grew up listening to talk radio. My parents did not listen to it at all. You hear all these stories about these guys who grew up listening to the old radio that their dad had in the living room. I didn't have that at all. I got into talk radio because, I'll be honest, just the corporate radio world, you can only listen to the same song so many times, so many hours in a row. So I got frustrated with that, and I stopped listening to music on the radio and started looking for other options, and I discovered talk radio. And I've learned different things from different people. Even if I don't necessarily agree with them, I would listen to them to learn their style. So I don't know if I really have a radio hero per se, but I've definitely grabbed things from different people. For sports, Stan Savern taught me how to slow down because it's very easy when you're doing a talk show and you have a lineup set up to rush through it. It's like when you do public speaking, it's easy to rush through it when you're not as seasoned. As you grow with it, it's easier to do that, but Stan really taught me, just listening to him, how to slow down and pace yourself and get the show going. Other radio hosts have taught me different things, especially in sales and stuff. I try to do my promos and make them fun instead of just going in and just saying, like for example, my show's sponsored by Hahn, so instead of just saying, "Oh, welcome to River Talk, sponsored by Hahn Funeral Home." I mean, that's boring. So I'll do an entire 5-minute intro, and I'll tie the entire thing into a Hahn funeral commercial. And, one time we talked about, I always mention this story because I think this is one of my best ones. I always remember it. We were talking about the Reformation, and because it was International Podcast Day, it was also my birthday. It was they were celebrating the 500th year of the Reformation, and it was also World Blasphemy Day. So I had mentioned how, if you were...
You get in the yang, man,
Yeah, we had everything together. So I mentioned, if you were a heathen at the time, a blasphemer during that Reformation, they would, kill you, and it was grueling, and they would just throw your body in a ditch somewhere, or they'd burn you at the stake. And the people of that time would yearn for the services of Hahn Funeral Home, the only family-owned funeral home in Millville. So I would try to tie it into Hahn's and make it fun. One time we did a whole story about Hahn bottling some sort of juice, and the corporate funeral home conglomerate stole the formula, and it went off onto this whole story. So,
well, that's great. Well, be sure to shop at Hahn. I guess you don't really shop at a funeral. Well, whenever you're faced with that choice, at whatever time it may be, choose Hahn.
Choose the family-owned funeral home.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see to hear this new song, especially. I think that's going to be great.
We'll see. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it together. It's like it's more of an acoustic song.
Okay.
And sounds nothing like the last album that we put out, which was almost like our Soundgarden. We tried to do like a Soundgarden album or something. This one is way more. This song is much more it's like a fake Bob Dylan, Shelter from the Storm or something like that. That kind of vibe.
Very cool.
Acoustic guitars, open tunings and stuff.
So what do you guys have going forward?